the biggest X factors, the most important guys, the guys that maybe it's hard to say whether they're good or not, but they have the widest range of outcomes. And if it's positive, the Niners are in business. What do you think?
Love it.
Okay, so I'll give you my list. You tell me what you think. I'm going to start with
yeah.
I'm going to start with Eric Armstead. We didn't put him in either of our previous lists. He is a guy who's had an excellent season in the NFL and a lot of subpar seasons in the NFL. It seems to me that he's as athletic as any player on the team. The question is just, how driven is he? How much does he want to play like DeForest Buckner, the guy that they kept him over? If he can play the way he played 2 years ago, the Niners have a hell of a player.
I want to be specific about him. For him to play well, what does he need? What do you want him to accomplish?
Okay, that's good. He needs to be more he needs attention to detail. He's the guy who constantly lets the quarterback leave the pocket when you're facing a mobile quarterback. Eric Armstead's the one who sells out to get the sack and misses and lets the guy run away and throw passes outside the pocket. He's too good. He's a captain. He should at least be executing his assignments correctly. If he could just do that, he would be a lot better because he's too good to be a liability. When he does that stuff, he hurts the defense. He should be helping the defense. He has in the past.
Iggy, is he do they want him to be a quarterback sacker?
Yes, of course they do. They're paying him $17 million a year. He had 10 sacks in 2019. Yes. But he can't sell out and hurt the defense trying to get his own stats. That doesn't help.
But in addition, last season, was he good at sacking the quarterback?
Absolutely not. It was a non-factor.
Okay. So now there's 2 points. There's one, he doesn't do his assignments correctly because he's trying to sell out for the sack, but he doesn't even get the sack. So there's no payoff.
Exactly. That's the whole point. I mean, if you're going to be a guy who gets 3 or 4 sacks a year, can you just do it in a controlled manner that doesn't let the quarterback get out of the pocket? You're not going to get there. Stop. Yeah.
Okay. So they need him to improve in 2 areas.
Yes.
If he does, they're a formidable defense.
Absolutely.
If he doesn't, then he's a washout.
Absolutely. And he's taking up too much of their money. Player. Very important. He's one of their highest paid players. And he's shown in glimpses that he can justify it. So he needs to do that. Another guy who doesn't, this next guy has no question of effort. It's just durability. Nick Bosa. When he was a rookie, he was a game changer for them. Teams quickly started treating him like a veteran, double teaming him, taking him very seriously. He was one of their best players, and then he tore his ACL. So if he can come back and prove that that wasn't just a one-off, that he's really, really that type of a player that the Niners think he is, then the Niners have a hell of a defense.
Okay, Bosa. He is really, we're going to call these swing players.
Swing players,
good or bad, and a lot depends on. So much depends upon a swing player.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I was just quoting William Carlos
Williams. Nice.
In a sense. But in any event, 2 things with Bosa. When he comes back, is he still the same player?
Who knows?
See, that's one issue. When he comes back, is he still the same player? And 2, if he is the same player, we know he's very good, but is he going to get hurt again?
That to me is even the bigger issue. I mean, he has shown that he can come back from serious injuries. He tore his ACL in high school. He tore a core muscle in college. But that's 3 major surgeries by 23. When's the next one coming?
Right. So he is the quintessential swing player.
Absolutely. Yes, he's probably the number one. I'm not doing this in order, but he's probably the number 1 X factor for the 49ers. But I have more.
Okay, but hold on.
Yes.
Not in a hurry. Bosa, I've never met him. What's he like?
He's interesting. Generally has no interest in talking to the media. He walks around the locker room very quietly. He doesn't talk much. He kind of stays to himself. It seems like he's popular and people like him, but he lets people come to him. But the great thing about him is he's Ahmad Brooks. He's Ahmad Brooks. He's not dying to talk to the press. In fact, he's quite content to be by himself. But after a loss, he's right there at his locker. And if you want to know why the Niners lost, just ask Nick Bosa, because he won't listen to anything the coach said. You know, there's like the coach's version where the plan worked, The players played hard. They just didn't execute. He never goes along with that. I mean, I remember they lost a game to Atlanta in 2019 at home during that Super Bowl year. And they lost to Atlanta, and they looked awful and flat. You know, you say like one of those things where the team looks flat, and we asked the coach, and Kyle said, no, we weren't flat, because that would be a condemnation of him. You got to get your team up to play. And Nick Bosa, we went to him, he said, oh, yeah, we were absolutely flat. It was unacceptable, the flattest we've ever been. It's like, oh, yeah, great. Love you, Nick Bosa. You're the go-to guy after losses.
Okay, you know what that says to me? He's a stand-up guy.
Well, he certainly could be. I don't know him that well, but he seems like it. Yeah.
You know, there are certain people after a loss, they vanish.
Yes.
They vanish. And you don't respect them.
Correct.
But
he's there.
You respect a stand-up guy. Okay, who's your next player?
Deebo Samuel.
Oh.
He was fantastic as a rookie, just like Nick Bosa. And then last year he played 5 games. And when he was healthy enough to contribute, they won. He is so unique. I don't think there's any player I've ever seen like him. Most times the tone setter on an offense is the running back, the guy who delivers blows to the defense, who's physical. It's Deebo. It's the wide receiver on this team. He's bigger than all the running backs. He's more violent than all the running backs. And it seems like NFL defensive backs really don't like tackling him. He's special in that way. If he can play the way he did as a rookie, the Niners offense could be really, really good. It seemed like when he went down last year, the offense fell apart.
Iggy, have you ever seen him with his shirt off? And the reason I ask, what does his upper body look like?
He looks very strong, but he also looks like he has about 5, maybe 8 pounds of a little gristle that most wide receivers don't have. He's built a little bit more like a running back. And I think that's part of and I think that's part of the reason why he's pulled his hamstring so many times in his career. I mean, he's very fast, but he probably could stand to lose 10 pounds.
I see. And maybe stretch better, things like that. Have more
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Iggy, have you ever talked to him?
I have talked to him. He's very interesting. I don't know who to compare him to, but I've seen interviews with him where he will answer in 2 sentences each. It's like, wow, what's wrong with you? Like almost Colin Kaepernick as a young man. But then I've also been on Zoom meetings with him where he's going on and on and on and on and on and can't stop. So he's obviously very smart. And maybe the reason he was brief at first was because he was a rookie and he didn't feel he could talk. Now that Emmanuel Sanders is gone and he's basically the oldest guy in the wide receiver room, maybe he feels like he's allowed to have a voice, and he's very, very smart.
Very smart.
Very smart. That's the thing about the players on the Niners team you would like. They're all really smart. I don't think Harbaugh cared. I don't think Balky cared. I think they wanted tough guys, intimidating guys. Shanahan and Robert Saleh want smart guys. And I think that's probably one of their issues with Jimmy. He's just not quite what they had hoped in that area.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, another swing guy.
Okay, Raheem Mostert. I think Raheem Mostert is just
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I know you put him in the top 5 of yours,
Yeah.
and I kind of made you take him out because if we're not going to put Nick Bosa there, I think we got to hold the same line with Mostert. He's a guy who's had one great year in the NFL. He was around for a long time. He didn't make an impact. He didn't get a chance. He was a special teams guy. He played in 2019. He never started a game. He was wonderful. He earned the starting job last year. He got hurt. So if he could stay healthy, they don't have to use him. They don't have to give him the ball 15 times a game. They could use him the way they used him 2 years ago. And if he could do that again, I thought he made their offense unstoppable that Super Bowl year.
What's he like?
Ooh, Raheem Mostert is grown up. I mean, he's almost 30, if not 30. He's very appreciative of any reporter who goes up and talks to him. He looks you in the eye. He stands up. He was a nobody in the league for years, and then he became like a celebrity. And when we were at the Super Bowl, he was the biggest story. That's who everyone wanted to talk to, all the national reporters, because he had just done that thing in the NFC Championship game, ran for 300 whatever yards. He's very down to earth, but I think I don't know, he just seems more grown up and mature than a lot of the other players in the team because he's older.
You like him?
Very much so. Yes. He knows my name, so I guess that's why I like him.
You know, when they know your name, you like them, right?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Grant, how are you?
I always felt that.
Absolutely, yes. Mostert. When he's good, he's special, don't you think?
Well, I put him in my top 5 until you intimidated me and made me take him out.
I don't know if he's a classic starting running back like Frank Gore that you could just give the ball to 25 times a game consistently, but who cares? What he does well is great. Use him like that. And then the final guy, what?
No, keep going.
Final guy is the guy who's not on the team yet, but is going to be on the team in 2 weeks, whichever quarterback they take with that number 3 pick. My God. I mean, he may not play next year, but if Jimmy Garoppolo was the bridge quarterback, that bridge could collapse by week 2, and then that rookie could be on the field. Yeah, I think that's fairly – if he's good, the Niners could win the Super Bowl. If not, these guys could all get fired in a couple of years. It'll be very interesting.
I love it. Before we move to another topic,
yes.
I had started asking you, what is each of these players like? But I didn't ask about Armstead. What is he like?
Well, Armstead hates me. So there's that. Armstead's interesting because Armstead doesn't really like any of the media. Like, his attitude is that he's great. And he had a few injury-plagued seasons early in his career, and the local national media kind of dumped on him and called him a bust, and that's the chip on his shoulder. So whatever he needs to perform, it ended up helping him get a $90 million contract or whatever. Okay, he doesn't like any of us, and he can be very curt. When you ask him a question, he can be like, well, no one believed in me, and now you guys think I'm good, and now you guys want to talk to me. He's like, okay. But if you can get him to like let go of that stuff and just be normal, he's, again, really smart, really perceptive. Remember, I did 2 years ago, I did a story on the card games that the Niners play in the spades. And I was interviewing a bunch of the different defensive linemen because they play it a lot. And Eric Armstead, it was like quintessential. Like the first 5 minutes, he's like, it's the worst interview of all time. He's like, well, why are you answering? It's like every question is like, basically, why are you answering, asking me these questions? I don't get this interview. Where are you coming from? But then if you get past that and break the ice, he gives you really smart, interesting things to say. It's just, it's a lot of effort.
And you got past it with him that one time.
I did. I don't think he would do that with me anymore. I think he really doesn't like me now.
I want to remind you that he at one point wanted to get into it with you on Twitter, and Robert Saleh told him, don't do it. Don't get into a blanking match with Grant Cohn.
Yeah.
Didn't that happen?
Yeah, he said you're going to lose.
You're going to lose.
It's some of the best advice Robert Saleh ever gave Eric Armstead. And Eric Armstead hasn't tweeted at me recently.
Yeah, and Saleh warned him off. You don't want to get into that.
You don't.
Plus, it doesn't help you be a good football player.
No, just prove him wrong.